If you're looking for a color palette for First Star by Sherwin-Williams, you've come to the right place. This is palette pyramids, where we take colors and put them in a triangle formation because triangles, they're like the best shape ever. And if you're wondering the whole reasoning behind why I put it in a pyramid, is because it's a top-down view of your color palette. You start with the top, your main color, that's kind of your default choice. You move down to your secondary colors, which are more the support colors. So things like maybe your trim or other neutrals other than your main color. And then finally, you have your finishing colors down on the bottom, your more accent choices. If you really want to pull focus towards certain rooms or walls or furniture, thepaintpeople.com is your go-to destination for quality paint and paint supplies. We're more than just a paint store, we are your partner in bringing color to life. Our commitment to fast shipping ensures that your order will reach you promptly so you can start your project without unnecessary waiting. Visit our website today and discover a world of colors, quality, and convenience. And as a thank you for supporting us on YouTube, use coupon code JAMES5 for 5% off your order. We recently reviewed First Star by Sherwin-Williams, so let's put this color in a palette pyramid. First of all, where would it go? I think right at the top, First Star is going to be a great choice as a main color in a home. I think it's a beautiful, slightly cool leaning off-white, could be a light gray as well, but not too cold that it goes into like severe blue territory. It just has a fresh feeling to it. It is very neutral, very soft, and also has a 69 light reflectance value. And that means it reflects 69% of the light that hits it, which is kind of in that upper echelon of paint colors where it's going to make a space feel nice and airy and lifted. Wonderful choice as a hallway color, main living areas. You can use it in bedrooms, you can put it in your bathroom, kitchens, anywhere you really want to use it inside the home. I think it's a great choice. Assuming you're okay with that little bit of a hint of coolness. That doesn't mean that you can't pair it with warmer elements, but you will notice how cool it feels in person. And if you want a better idea of that, just test the color out first. Get a tester pot, a tiny can of paint before you get the big old cans. Test your colors out, please. So that's our main color. What about these support colors right below it? Maybe a trim color or another neutral that works alongside First Star. To start with, I have an off-white that you can use on your baseboards and your doors and your frames. It's called Snowbound. Another amazing color, super easy. Also a little bit of that slight gray undertone without going too cool, but it is a cooler leaning off-white. An 83 LRV, so quite a bit brighter, reflecting 83% of the light that hits it. That is a lot. It's like an A or an A+. I forget if we're talking about report cards. Been a while since I had one of those, and they weren't always pretty. But I think Snowbound and First Star, it's a match made in heaven. Very, very similar colors in terms of how they're composed, but you have enough of a difference in lightness between them that they'll pop off each other, which I think is a really good thing with walls and trim. The second support color is going to be another neutral, but this one just has a hint of warm, even though gray is in the name. It's Agreeable Gray. One of the quintessential neutrals by Sherwin-Williams. It has a 60 LRV, which makes it very flexible as a wall color. Not going to feel too light or too dark in a lot of situations, which is nice. And it does have that beige within it to give you that other dimension of color temperature. A little bit of warmth without going too overboard. Because I'm assuming if you like First Star, then you're okay with those cooler neutrals. I didn't want to go too far in the other direction either. Agreeable Gray, great choice for secondary rooms in the home. You can even use it in places like hallways, but in this case, it's going to be a support color. So before we get to those finishing colors, the fun accent choices, I want to remind you that we offer custom color palettes just like this one to any of our customers, ranging from 3, 6 to 12 colors, depending on the size of your project. If you want me to craft your own personal color palette, where I take your preferences and tastes into consideration, and then pump out a palette for you and give you a nice little video explaining it all, link in the description down below if you want more details on that. I love doing them, so hit me up. First finishing color is called Pewter Cast. And what's interesting about this one is when you look at it, kind of looks like a bit of a cool gray, lower mid-tone color. Maybe it has a touch of green to it. It doesn't. It's actually more of a purple leaning gray. Very subtle, but it almost feels like it's the color of a dark stone, or I guess pewter in this case. Very much an earthy, grounded gray, which I think is really nice. And still not super dark where it's going to feel limiting to a lot of people. It reflects enough light to make it accessible, which I think is nice. It may have a slight complementary relationship with First Star because of that slight purple touch to it, but Nothing that'll be too offensive, I don't think. Next up, we have Backdrop as the second finishing color, and this is going to be another one of those neutrals, but more so on the darker brown side of things. It has a 20 LRV, so it's a darker color. I believe it's the darkest color in this palette, and it has this deep clay color, but not in the sense of like red clay you would do in pottery class. This is like the clay you find underground when you're digging in your garden, which I've been doing quite a bit recently. It does feel a little bit grayed out and toned down, which is nice, but also has like a hint of this sort of bronze undertone, which I think is beautiful. A wonderful choice if you want something darker, neutral, but with a little bit of warmth to sort of bring some positivity to the space. And then the third finishing color is Solitude, which is a beautiful blue, although it is part of the purple family according to Sherwin-Williams, and that's because it does have a little bit of that purple undertone, but it's all about the blue to me. This is sort of that blue sky sort of finishing touch that maybe would be tricky to implement in the main parts of your home, but as a one accent room color, maybe even in a bedroom or a bathroom, kitchen, if you really want to go a little more avant-garde. And then even off of the walls in the form of accessories and artwork and textiles and things like that. I think a color like this will really break through all the neutrality of the other colors. This just brings in that nice dose of color that this palette really needed, and also gives you that really clean blue quality, which I think is kind of unique feeling amongst all the neutrals. Here's the palette pyramid all together. Please let me know what you think of this one. We also have our review on First Star right over here, and more palette pyramids down below.